TJ Rives. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I am a man of many hats. You always comment on my hats. I still have a few, including the old school orange back there. Always good to be with you on all these fronts. You are confirming right now that you and I are not throw-in players in any potential Rays deal that is upcoming. We are not part of the package.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I am a part of any of these deals.
How about Littell comes out of the game last night and they're like, yeah, that's the last time that you've pitched for us. We've got a deal working for you to go to Cincinnati.
I know.
Such is life. Welcome to pro sports.
That's the way it goes too with our Tampa Bay Rays. They're wheeling and dealing, and it doesn't always mean that it's, big names and a guy like Zach Littell, with so many of the young arms that they have, that he was probably an attractive asset for a lot of other teams because he can eat up innings. He can pitch out of the bullpen. Really good servant for our Tampa Bay Rays.
Our buddy Steve Carney pointed this out on Twitter.
Dog.
Okay, 3 years ago, they got Littell for nothing.
Yeah.
And developed him into a starting pitcher that they could then flip in a trade and basically get a bona fide AAA star catching prospect. So now it becomes a little clearer the menagerie of the moves of Danny Jansen getting traded. You get the guy from the Marlins, and now you've got the prospect from the Dodgers. Can we get a catcher on the field by 2026, Jay Recher, or 2027?
Who knows, man? We might be waiting a long time for the catcher. It's funny how certain positions for certain teams, they can just cycle through and they have another good player at that spot, another good player at that spot. And then there's other teams out there that they can never find a goalie, or they can never find a quarterback. They can never find a catcher. Right? It's the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Browns quarterback, and the
Cleveland Browns can't find a lot of things.
That you got that right, buddy. They certainly won't find
the third piece to a three-piece puzzle in Cleveland. But I digress.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just interesting, and we'll watch there's already been a blur of activity. I woke up this morning in the A's. I saw this A's. What's the guy's name? Forgive me. I don't.
Mason Miller, yeah.
Okay. I saw him firsthand in the A's game come in to close. And first of all, he looks about 6'6" up on the mound. I don't know how tall he is. And he's gunning 103 in the warm-ups. Not 103 the temperature.
Right.
But he's warming up at 103. And I'm like, who is this guy? And now obviously the Padres gave up like the number 3 prospect in minor league baseball and 3 other things to primarily get their hands on him, if I'm correct. So there's wheeling and dealing going on everywhere.
Yeah, and a guy routinely over 100, and I thought more teams should have been in. I love San Diego going for it every single year. They're wheeling and dealing. They brought in JP Sears, a starter in that deal as well. That means that they can probably offload Dylan Cease. So Dylan Cease is a guy that a lot of people are looking at, right-hander that can throw gas himself. They did the same thing a couple of years ago with Juan Soto. They brought him in, they acquired him in a trade, and then they were able to flip him to the Yankees. Very, very smart, very shrewd businessman there in San Diego.
One more thing on this, then I know you want to talk Buccaneers and training camp, et cetera. I'm not trying to produce your show.
But you're fine.
One more thing on this is the belief. I don't know about you, many thought this was probably a 500 season, a 500 team, something like 82 and 80. It was not built to win the World Series. Who are we kidding?
Right.
This team. So they've begun to flounder. They've begun to regress back to what we thought they were going to be. Had a tremendous month of May and early June to really put themselves in contention. But at this point, you're trying to make deals for the future. You've got a new ownership group coming in. I have to believe, Jay Recher, I want your take, that the new ownership group is at least being consulted on some of this, because if they're about to own the team September, October, they should be consulted on what do we have for 2026? Are we just going to do a complete fire sale here for prospects, or what are we doing? So I have to believe that someone on behalf of that group is at least aware of what some of these moves are. So let's see. It's all about the future. It's all about the new ownership group, the new blood, get the new stadium built. And I continue to say to people privately on these kind of interviews, publicly, we're not going to remember the results of the 2025 season 5 years from now. We aren't. We're going to remember they got new owners, and hopefully 4 or 5 years ago, they got the stadium built. That's what we're going to remember about this year. So I'm just curious how all the rest of this plays out over the next few hours today. When does the new ownership group take over, et cetera? And then we go from there.
Yeah, I think you're giving too much credit to the Braves right now. Because I don't think that I can't get burned again. I can't get burned again because we thought, hey, we're so far down the road, shovels in the ground are next. TJ, I have no idea. I have no clue. I mean, they say that this guy's going to be the guy and the Jacksonville guy and 1.7 billion. There's still 2 other groups hanging out there. So there's still uncertainty. We can't. I mean, how many times you get fooled once, shame on who? Fooled twice. What about fooled 17 times?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We can't go down there. So that's why
here's the critical
pushing it over.
Here's the critical part of this. Major League Baseball is intimately involved. And I know you're talking to people. I'm talking to people. And this is the truth. They've basically told Stu Sternberg, take the best deal. This is the best deal. This is the deal. And so this is going to get done. I feel 100% confident this gets done because play it out. If he tries to renege on this, walk away from this, you're talking about the anvil, the 5,000-pound anvil being dropped from 9 floors up on Wile E. Coyote is coming on him because now your revenue sharing money is going to be in jeopardy from your fellow owners if you blow this up. I'm just saying this and speculating, but some of this is truth. You're going to have a financial person from Major League Baseball who's now going to be essentially overseeing every part of your organization and reporting back on where is he putting money in his pockets versus not spending it on what he's supposed to be spending it to. So rather than do all of that, why don't you cash out at a massive, massive profit that he's going to make and let somebody else try it? Because clearly as the sky is blue and the temperature's 173 degrees right now, this guy ain't ever getting a stadium built. Not in our lifetimes. It's not going to happen. And Major League Baseball knows that. So
I'm hoping that he doesn't drag his feet. Don't drag your feet. Just please.
Stay tuned. Let's see what all happens here in the next 30 to 60 days. And we go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. The whole saga. It's
I know it wears on people.
I got so upset yesterday, and I was just kind of talking about the Rays, and it's just like, and I was telling T-Crash today, and like, man, I got so fired up yesterday because we shouldn't have to explain everything all the time. Like nobody wants that.
Right.
If you're constantly 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes late, and you have to tell your wife, well, I was here every single day. You're late from work. She doesn't want to hear that. Eventually, she's just going to be like, all right, tell me the truth. Like, just skip all the other BS, skip all the other minutia. Just give me the ham and cheese, man. Just give me the sandwich. Forget about all the.
It's interesting that you bring that up because literally, I just had ham and cheese for lunch. I would have given you a ham and cheese had I known you wanted one. I'm not making that up. I just had a Thursday afternoon ham and cheese. I didn't know you wanted one.
Big ham and cheese guy. Big ham and cheese guy. I'm also a big running back guy when it comes to what the Buccaneers have in their running back room. Sean Tucker, Rashad White, Bucky Irving. All right, TJ, give me your perspective on. Everybody loves Bucky, right? And I'm one of the few people that I'm just like, hey, let's just be careful. He's a second-year running back. There's no reason to heap 250 touches on this guy.
Right.
Chill out. Give us your impression of Rashad White and Sean Tucker and how this team is going to utilize all 3 backs in the 2025 season.
You make a very valid point. You're going to need all 3 of them, and you needed all 3 of them a year ago.
Right.
If you go back to the game in New Orleans after the hurricane craziness of Milton and everything we went through, Rashad White got hurt in that game, and Sean Tucker destroyed the New Orleans Saints that day. As Bucky Irving's run throughout the season and his rampage went on. Remember, he got hurt late in the year in the Carolina game, couldn't play the second half in the overtime. You had to go back to Rashad White and Sean Tucker. It is a given that over the course of these 17 games, you're going to need all 3 of these guys at some point. It's just attrition, the beating that you take. Are we thrilled and excited to watch the potential that Irving has as a full-time running back? Sure. But is Rashad White going to get 10 or 15 touches every game? More than likely, yes. So you bring up a great point. And if anything happens, Tucker's going to be your 3rd guy. And I liked what I saw again the other night. Keeps working hard for whatever it's worth in a practice where you're not going full blast and it's the same team. It's your team against your team, offense and defense. He still hits the hole explosively. You know, he doesn't have quite the same explosiveness that Bucky Irving has right now. Put that right foot in the ground, cut back, and his first step is faster than your first 2 steps trying to catch up to him. So I like the depth at running back, and you are going to need it all 3 of them. I would agree with you.
What do you see when you're looking at the tight end position? Kate Otten missing practice again. From what you saw last year, and obviously we know how the tight ends kind of fit into this offense. It's not going to be a high volume type position, but we did see some good things from Payne Durham. We did see some good things from my guy, Devin Culp. I've been high on Devin Culp since they drafted the guy.
I like that guy.
I think he looks like Mighty Mouse out there. He's huge, broad chested. Like, what kind of impact do you think they can have in this new Josh Broussard offense?
I think you've hit on the name to watch out for, especially early on in the year. What kind of leap does Culp make year 2 as that tight end? Payne Durham is a blocker, catches some. They're going to keep Ko Kieft. I keep telling people this because he plays special teams, and he's a maven on that. What do I know? But I believe he will be part of the equation coming up. And for Cade Otton, remember now, they were featuring him some in the middle of the year with the injuries to Evans and Godwin. He kind of became a security blanket, but remember, he hurt his knee at the end of the year, got hit on the knee, had a knee sprain at the end of the year. They're going slow with him, but that's another guy that can be a component for this team as well. A lot of weapons at tight end, a lot of depth at wide receiver as well, and you're going to need all of it, again, over the course of 17 games for this offense.
TJ, I want to ask you about Todd Bowles. I know we spoke about this a couple months ago, but I was one of the few people here in the Bay Area that was not on the, if we got to keep Liam Cohen, we got to get rid of Todd. I'm like, guys, that is one of the worst things that you could do, because you're talking about a leader of men, a respected coach around the league, and a guy that I think, even though he's been around football for 40 years, I think he's getting better. He's getting better as a head coach. He's not stuck in his ways. He's bringing in new coaches. He's changing up his coaching staff. He understands what it takes to be successful. And you hear other teams and other coaches. I don't know if you saw the quarterback documentary on Netflix, but Kirk Cousins singing Todd Bowles' praises because of how dynamic he is when he's calling those crazy blitzes on D. What is it like to be around Todd Bowles through the ups, through the downs, just being with that guy and to be able to, talk to him as you're walking off the field, after wins and after losses?
It's a great question. I enjoy being around him a bunch. Winning has something to do with that, but even after the losses, he understands. I mean, you do a great job with what you do. And I just explain a little bit at times about what I do. I am not the media. It's not my job to put him on the hot seat and beat him over the head. He does a press conference with all the rest of you where you get every opportunity to ask him, why did you go for it on 4th down? Or what in the world was that coverage in the final minute when you let that touchdown happen? Yes, I will ask him things, but it is not a cross-examination for me, and he knows that. So we have a great relationship on getting questions and answers asked in the pregame mode, halftime real quick, and after the game. It's always fun. You'll hear me do this every single time when I'm talking to him at the half. I will say we are live so that he knows this is not the network sideline reporter that's talking to you off the air. So whatever colorful language you might be inclined to use, everybody's going to hear this sooner or later. But I love being around him. And let's say this. You're right about growing as a coach. He learned from the Jets situation, obviously, having been there. Now, let's not forget, he won 10 games one of the years in New York with the Jets. But he's learned from previously having been a head coach. He's making the most of this opportunity. And let's not revise history. When Tom Brady left 2 seasons ago, 2 years ago this July, as we sit here on July 31st, wasn't all the talk from the national pundits that this was going to be a disastrous 2023 season in Tampa Bay? That Baker Mayfield taking over for Tom Brady is such a dramatic drop-off. Todd Bowles doesn't know what he's doing as a head coach. They're salary cap strapped, which the Bucs were. How are they going to get all of this to work? And lo and behold, that team responded down the stretch of that season, winning key game after key game, won in Atlanta dramatically in the final minutes, won in Green Bay when the Buccaneers in their history, Jay Recher and audience, had never won a December or later game in Green Bay, won the game in Green Bay, came back home and destroyed the Jaguars, who were a playoff caliber team. And everybody's looking around going, I thought these guys were supposed to be a joke. I thought this was supposed to be an awful season, and they went and won the playoffs, won the division and made the play. In fact, you know what? I've got the It's a Lock
there we go.
NFC South shirt on today by pure coincidence. So he demonstrated 2 seasons ago that with everybody counting you out, we're still going to find a way to win 9 or 10 games, finish strong, win a playoff game. You look at last year. Again, the end of the year could have gone either way. But this team responded off the bye week, going to New York and destroying the Giants. We went out to Los Angeles as like an 8 or 9 point underdog to the Chargers. And all everybody's talking about is how the Chargers were going to clock the Buccaneers. Jim Harbaugh this, Justin Herbert that. My friend, help me recollect. How did the second half of the Buccaneer-Charger game go?
Justin Herbert was on the sideline more than you were in the second half.
Yes,
they took him out of the game. They took him. They were like, I haven't seen a team put up the white flag like that in a long time.
Because the Buccaneers outscored them 27-0 in the second half, and that got a whole lot of people's attention. This team's still playing hard for Todd Bowles. So I think all of this bodes well. You got to have a lot of confidence right now if you can stay healthy in what this looks like, because I love your point. He's growing as a coach. He's got a staff that some adjustments have been made, and you've got a culture of winning and veteran leaders that know how to win and have won Super Bowls. When you're talking about Evans and Wirfs and David and Vea and Antoine Winfield and Jamel Dean and on guys that have won a Super Bowl and can help you in that locker room. So I'm very bully. I'm very optimistic on what we're looking at with Todd Bowles in this season.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it was funny because at camp today, Mike Evans was talking to Cam Brate, who was out there hanging out with some of the guys. And, Tristan Wirfs walked by and he was like, hey, champ. And he said it purposefully, you just to remember, hey, man, we're Super Bowl champions around here. You mentioned the defensive side of the ball. Give me either a level, first, second, or third level, or a player that excites you the most going into the season.
Haason Reddick. What can he do? I mean, that is arguably the biggest key to the defense, because everybody wants to compare this maybe to Shaq Barrett. Obviously, Reddick is better known for what he did with the Eagles, and then obviously had a disaster with the holdout with the Jets. But if that guy is, as I like to say, the real deal Holyfield here, if he can get after the quarterback with pressures and sacks, it's going to open up so much other stuff on the defensive line. So I am most curious, what kind of shape is he ultimately in here, football shape and otherwise, and how high is that motor on a one-year prove-it deal? Because Shaq Barrett demonstrated, I can turn a minimal contract into a Fort Knox situation with one big year. Baker Mayfield did the same thing with this team. I mean, when you contemplate that 2 years ago, Baker Mayfield was playing for $4 million, we would take that. Of course we would take that.
Yeah.
That is NFL minimum wage. And he killed it on a $4 million contract, and that's why he got paid. And Haason Reddick and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who was out there today, he was around you. So. They know this. They know this team will reward him handsomely and has the cap room to do it. So I'm most intrigued by what that guy can bring game in and game out. I mean, if you're talking about a 10, 12 sack season or more, look out.
Do you think the Bucs will bring him back? You think the Bucs will bring him back if he had a season like that? Because
I think if he has a big enough season, they will find a way to pay him.
Wow. Yeah. I said that today. I wonder if, because, listen, you can't pay everybody, right? And there is a salary cap. So you wonder if Haason Reddick, because remember, Haason Reddick did it too. Haason Reddick did it. He had a one-year prove-it deal as well, and he was able to do it.
But let's look at it like this. All right, you've got a culture that we talked about. You got great weather most of the time. I mean, I know it's scorching hot right now. You got no state income tax. You got the beach readily available if you want it. You got nightlife if you want it. You got whatever you want down here with this situation. And you got an agent who's telling him, I got the same thing for Shaq Barrett. So stay tuned. I don't know. I'm not privy to all of it. But if he has a big year, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised at what they're able to do.
What did you see from Tyke Smith last year? And do you think he's a guy that can have a huge season this year, forming that 1-2 punch with Antoine Winfield?
He is a hitter. Not the biggest guy and physical. Winfield is to a degree too, but I'm intrigued by him. I'm intrigued by this Ben Morrison, who can also play some safety, the rookie from Notre Dame, and that's going to be a very interesting battle for playing time in the middle of the defense. I know everybody's buzzing about Shiloh Sanders and what can he do. Again, he's undrafted. He's going to struggle to just make the team. We're saying this, probably a practice squad guy. Stay tuned. But the safety position is going to be an interesting one because remember a year ago, Winfield was hurt for a lot of the year and down the stretch of the season. And Tyke Smith was hurt for a couple of games too at the end of the year. You got to have some depth there. But I'm intrigued out of that Georgia pedigree. And I knew from the Georgia coaches talking, this guy is a hitter and a player, even at a little lesser size than what you would think for a big time hitting safety. So I'm intrigued by him. I'm intrigued on what's there in the on the back end. Zion McCollum is now a veteran. You bring in Jacob Parrish as a draft pick. You got quite a competition there in the back end of the Buck defense.
You've intrigued me with Drew Rosenhaus and Haason Reddick, because here's the thing. Remember, Drew Rosenhaus reached out to who to get Shiloh Sanders a workout? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the relationships between these agents and the teams, like the agents like to deal with certain teams, and you don't reach out to the Buccaneers unless the rapport with Jason Light and company is good. So that could help the relationship with Drew. Man, I think we stumbled on something good.
Maybe
here.
So
the relationship between Drew Rosenhaus and the Bucs could mean that Haason Reddick is here long term after the season.
We don't know. We're not privy. We don't have coffee and donuts with Rosenhaus and Jason Light, but it could
He's paying if that's the case.
So this is how long I've been around, how far I go back. Rosenhaus goes back to the 90s with having Warren Sapp, by the way, as the prize of Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and he did multiple deals, a couple of them with the Glazers.
Right.
Warren Sapp. So Rosenhaus has been around a long time. So stay tuned on how this gets done, but don't think for a second that he hasn't been in Haason Reddick's ear on this is the team that took care of Shaq Barrett. And he probably put Shaq Barrett in touch with Haason Reddick. Same defensive mind in Todd Bowles. Get after it on this defense, and you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid somewhere, and the Bucs are very good at not letting guys get away if they have them in-house. So stay tuned. Stay tuned on what happens. He's got to deliver. All right, because around the NFL right now, there's a lot of question marks that this guy's going to flake out, not put out the effort, whatever on the Bucs like he did with the Jets. He can answer that almost immediately at the beginning of this season, and I look forward to seeing him do it.
I think he will. I think that's overblown. I think the Jets were stupid to acquire him when he wanted a long-term deal, and they were like, what do you mean long-term deal? It's like, how do you make a trade for a guy and not know?
Exactly
and
right.
Again, Haason Reddick, there's proof in the pudding. He had a 1-year deal with Carolina. He showed out, got paid from the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's going to do the same thing again. Before I let you go, I want to ask you one boxing question, because you know me and I love the beautiful science, the beautiful fighting game. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, we know what they've been able to do with their MVP promotions. Where do you think that they're going to end up when it comes to, because they're going to try to continuously make their way up the rankings if they can, right? They've been very smart, hand-picking, cherry-picking these opponents, MMA and boxers on the downside of their career. We just saw Jake Paul fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., which is, to me, I think the movie about his life is going to be one of the sadder ones, because I remember his 24/7 years ago, and he's out there partying and getting drinking. And meanwhile, we've watched Antonio Margarito drinking his own urine because those guys take it so serious, right? Boxing and MMA, like those guys train. It's no joke. Like they are sacrificing everything. And Cesar Chavez Jr. is out here partying. Like, dude, there's no way this is.
He was a joke. Out. He's not the dad. He's not the Hall of Fame.
Not even close.
So I was out there, as you know, I was out there for that Jake Paul fight card in Anaheim. It was dual purpose because I was out there with the twins, my 17-year-olds, Riley and Abby, that are about to be high school seniors. Wow, and the wife and I, we went to Disneyland, dual purpose, as I kept calling it. And here is the photo for the Jay Recher podcast video audience. There we were,
look at that.
At the entrance. I was the only one not in the mouse ears, as you notice. So we were out there dual purpose to be at Disneyland and also at the Paul Chavez Jr. Pay-per-view. Look, okay, so it is a sideshow. It is for social media. He has handpicked the opponents. He's fought a lot of MMA guys. He's fought some former basketball players a couple of times. Where that goes ultimately with contenders in the cruiserweight or the light heavyweight division, I mean, he's essentially fighting at cruiserweight. But look, Jake Paul already got millions and millions of people to tune in to watch him fight a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. So he has won. He has succeeded in creating awareness and money. His brother is more of a professional wrestler, as you know, and not that much of a boxer. So the promotion aspect of it, though, they are basically gobbling up all the top women's fighters and are properly paying them. They just had an all-women's fight card at Madison Square Garden with the trilogy fight of Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. That was, again, a sellout at Madison Square Garden and had tens of thousands watching on Netflix, tens of thousands of accounts watching on Netflix,
Yeah,
millions of people. So they have done well with the promotional aspect of this, and boxing has needed some reform and some people taking care of the fighters for decades, and so they're at least trying to do that. So good on the Pauls, because they get all kinds of attention everywhere. I still remember watching Jake Paul on the Disney show that he was on, Bizarre Bark, with my two when they were in elementary school. We're watching that show like every day. And I'm like now around him at boxing events going, yeah, just like everybody else, used to watch you as a Disney child actor before becoming this. And let's see how much longer it goes. The belief from all the boxing people is that if Jake Paul gets in there with a skilled, talented, big fighter, it's going to be big trouble. We have not seen that yet. Stay tuned if we will see it.
Do you think he will? Do you think he makes a foray into the back end of the rankings, the 10 to 15 guys?
And he steps in there. I mean, he wants to step in there for a title fight against somebody, because if you're gonna get drilled, and he might, you're gonna get drilled going for the title, and that kind of writes the final chapter on the boxing part of it. But I don't know. He's made a ton of money doing this, a ton. Now, are you going to step in there with somebody legitimately that can harm you? Chavez wasn't going to legitimately harm him. He was bloated 40 pounds overweight, middleweight or super middleweight. And it was an interesting atmosphere that night. And then you cannot make this crap up that the ICE, the Department of Homeland Security officers arrested him on Wednesday. Yeah. They could have arrested him on Saturday night. We knew where he was. It was not a secret. They had billboards up everywhere. Digital marquee outside the Honda Center in Anaheim where the Anaheim Ducks play. It wasn't a secret where he was, so you couldn't make that stuff up when all of that happened.
It's it's never a dull moment in the in combat sports, that's for sure. He is Bucs sideline reporter TJ Rives. TJ, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk again, and of course we'll talk Buccaneer football, and then we will definitely preview the big match coming up in a couple of months. I mean, this thing, they've been throwing the hell out of this thing.
Canelo Crawford in September. We look forward to that. You have me on anytime you want. Buccaneer football about to be back. College football, all of it. We're here for it. Good to be with you.
Go Memphis. All right, my friend.
We'll see you later.
See ya.